If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where for some reason this show is about dust clouds now, this is Ballard.
That's right. We're on the cutting edge of climate change. Let's hit this. A massive cloud of Sahara dust has decided to take a Caribbean vacation before heading to the United States. And it's brought enough sand to make everyone's eyes water and their lungs complain. This dust plume is absolutely enormous. We're talking 2,000 miles wide, stretching from Jamaica all the way past Barbados in the Eastern Caribbean. That's roughly 750 miles from the Turks and Caicos Islands down to Trinidad and Tobago. Alex De Silva from AccuWeather called it very impressive, which is meteorologists speak for, holy cow, look at the size of that thing. The dust concentration hit 0.55 aerosol optical depth, which is the highest amount recorded so far this year. For those keeping track at home, aerosol optical depth measures how much sunlight gets blocked by particles in the air. Basically, this dust cloud is so thick it's dimming the sun across the Caribbean. People throughout the region are dealing with hazy skies that are triggering sneezing fits, coughing spells, and watery eyes. Local forecasters are telling anyone with allergies, asthma, or other respiratory conditions to stay indoors or wear face masks if they have to go outside. So it's basically like having a really bad allergy day, except the allergen is coming from 3,000 miles away. The good news for the mainland United States is that these dust plumes usually lose most of their punch by the time they cross the Caribbean. Da Silva explains that the Eastern Caribbean islands tend to see the worst of it, where the dust can actually block out the sun at times. The plume is expected to reach Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi late this week and into the weekend, but it should be much weaker by then. This whole phenomenon is called the Saharan air layer, dry, dusty air that forms over the Sahara Desert and travels west across the Atlantic Ocean from April through October. It's actually beneficial in one way because it helps suppress tropical storm formation during hurricane season, which runs from June 1st through November 30th. June and July typically see the highest dust concentrations, with these plumes traveling anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 feet above ground. So while people on the surface are sneezing and squinting, there's literally tons of African sand floating miles above their heads. The last time we saw dust this dramatic was June 2020, when forecasters nicknamed it the Godzilla dust cloud, because it was the largest concentration seen in half a century. That one was truly record-breaking, but this current plume is still impressive enough to make headlines in respiratory systems across the Caribbean. Basically, the Sahara Tea is currently airmailing sand samples to millions of people who definitely didn't ask for them. Mother Nature's way of reminding us that weather doesn't respect international borders. President Trump was asked about potentially pardoning Sean Diddy Combs, and naturally, 50 Cent had some thoughts about this. Because when you're facing federal charges for racketeering and sex trafficking, nothing quite brightens your day like your longtime rival sliding into the conversation. Trump said he'd certainly look at the facts if someone asked him to pardon Diddy, which is presidential speak for, "Nobody's asked me yet, but I'm keeping my options open." The president explained that he and Diddy used to be friendly. They were photographed together at various events in the late 1990s and 2000s. But that relationship cooled when Trump entered politics. Apparently, Diddy started making little bit nasty statements about him in the papers. Now, Diddy is currently facing charges that could land him anywhere from 15 years to life in prison. He's maintained his innocence, but witnesses have testified about some pretty serious allegations, including rape, sexual assault, and drug trafficking. Enter 50 Cent, who saw this potential pardon discussion and thought, you know what this situation needs? Me. He took to social media to inform Trump that his former friend Diddy has said some unflattering things about him over the years. 50 posted videos of Diddy making statements about Trump, including one where Diddy said, "White men like Trump need to be banished." 50's caption? "Well, can't ask him for help then, buddy, LOL." The beef between 50 and Diddy goes way back. We're talking 2006 diss tracks and accusations about Notorious B.I.G.'s murder. So when 50 says he's going to make sure Trump is aware of Diddy's past comments, he's not exactly being a neutral messenger here. Trump, for his part, said he hasn't spoken to Diddy in years and that he'd base any pardon decision on whether someone was mistreated, regardless of whether they like him or not. Which is very magnanimous, except when your potential character witness is actively working against you on social media. The whole thing has turned into this bizarre triangle where one rapper is potentially lobbying against another rapper's presidential pardon. It's political drama meets hip-hop beef meets federal court proceedings. What a time to be alive. By the way, to keep up on Diddy, check out our podcast, Diddy Do It? See what we diddy there?
What happens when one of the most powerful men in music is accused of some of the most serious crimes imaginable? Check out the new podcast, Diddy Do It? Following the federal sex crimes trial of Sean Diddy Combs, coming to you straight from New York City. Every day I'll take you inside the courtroom where prosecutors say Combs ran a criminal enterprise of sex trafficking, coercion, and abuse, using his fame, fortune, and influence to silence victims and control lives. We'll cover the big stories and the small moments that can shift the verdict. The trial has begun. The questions are piling up, and every day we'll be asking the same thing. Diddy do it? Follow now wherever you get your podcasts.
A Volusia County Sheriff's deputy has resigned after getting arrested for riding around with a fake license plate that read Chase M3, which, in case you don't get it, says Chase Me. And honestly, you have to admire the commitment to the bit, even if it was incredibly stupid. The deputy was pulled over Saturday night on Interstate 4 in Deltona. Deputies noticed her motorcycle had a tag that was flipped up and not visible. When they flipped it down, it literally said "Chase Me," which is either the most honest fake license plate in history or the worst disguise attempt ever recorded. The whole thing started earlier that evening at a Wawa gas station, where deputies had spotted a motorcycle rider who had fled from a traffic stop. While they were arresting that guy, he called out to the deputy, who was apparently part of his riding group. She then got argumentative with the deputy conducting the investigation, which is never a great look when you're an off-duty law enforcement officer yourself. After her friend got arrested for fleeing police, the deputy had a choice: get her motorcycle towed, find a ride home, or ride away on a bike with a fake license plate that essentially taunts law enforcement. She chose option 3, which shows either remarkable confidence or a complete break from reality. After the arrest, the sheriff's office discovered a social media account allegedly belonging to her that showed reckless stunt riding on public roads. So not only was she riding around with Chase Me plates, she was apparently documenting her dangerous driving online. That's like robbing a bank and then posting the security footage on Instagram. Also in Florida, a bobcat has apparently decided that invasive Burmese pythons make excellent takeout, and wildlife biologists are cheering this development. It's nature's version of "the enemy of my enemy is my friend," except with more claws and fangs. Scientists in the Everglades have been tracking these massive pythons since 2013 using male scout snakes to lead them to breeding females during mating season. They follow these Romeo pythons right to their girlfriends, then remove the whole operation to control the invasive population. But in December 2022, wildlife biologist Ian Bartoshik was tracking a 13-foot, 52-pound python named Loki when he discovered something unexpected. Instead of finding Loki coiled up with a female python, they found his freshly killed body with his head and neck gnawed off and buried under pine needles. Bartoshik said it was a bit sad and a bit exciting at the same time. Sad because he'd been tracking Loki through 6 breeding seasons, but exciting because a native predator had apparently taken down one of these invasive giants. They treated it like a crime scene, looking for clues about what could have killed such a massive snake. The evidence pointed to a large cat, either a bobcat or Florida panther. So they set up a trail camera near the kill site, and sure enough, the next morning their suspect returned to the scene of the crime. An adult bobcat came walking across a log, sniffing around, checking out its buried meal and showing off its Chase Me license plate. Bartoshik called it score one for the home team. Finally, native Florida animals are fighting back against these invasive snakes. Burmese pythons have been known to eat bobcats, so this represents a significant role reversal in the food chain. Make the swamp great again for bobcats. Portions of today's show were made with the help of MAGA bobcats, stunt license plates, and AI.
You know the silhouette, the squint, the voice that cuts like a blade. Clint Eastwood isn't just a movie star, he's a myth, a mayor, a cultural fault line, and maybe the last great American icon. Eastwood Reloaded tells his story one chapter at a time. The hits, the flops, the chaos between the scenes. Because legends aren't born, they're built. Eastwood Reloaded. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
He thought cryptocurrency would set him free. Instead, it made him a target. Alessandro Romano flew to New York for a business meeting with his former partner. What he found was an elaborate trap. A luxury apartment turned torture chamber, where digital dreams become real-world nightmares. For 8 days, he endured unimaginable torture. His captors wanted his Bitcoin passwords. They had police protection. They had done this before. This is the true story of friendship turned to betrayal, innovation turned to exploitation, and one man's fight for survival against a system designed to break him. Crypto Kidnap. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Want this podcast without commercial interruptions or feed drops? Caliroga Plus is just $5 a month, and you'll get this show ad-free. Plus, we've just added the full first seasons of Eastwood Reloaded and Crown and Controversy, so you can binge listen our new series without a single interruption. Caliroga Plus gives you palace intrigue, 5 good news stories, daily comedy news, 5 daily trivia questions, and all the other shows on the Caliroga Shark Media Network. Totally ad-free. For just $5 a month, it's the best deal going. Apple Podcast users can even get a 30-day free trial by clicking the banner that says uninterrupted listening. If you're on any other app, head to caliroga.com/plus. Link in the show notes. Don't wait. Get your uninterrupted content now. Apple Podcast users click that banner that says uninterrupted listening. If you're on any other app, head to caliroga.com/plus. Link in the show notes.